100 grand is your man, Dr. Barber. Blah! You're gonna get cracking up in this mode.
I shouldn't have went after you. I am Zion. Happy Sunday, also known as Sister. So,
y'all a little late to the conversation, but we having a hell of a conversation. But we can go ahead and keep on going. But just some great conversation. Let's keep on going.
Yeah, so Will and Jada or Bobby and Whitney. I mean, who? And we have J and B, right? Man, shit, we love Bun B and his wife, and we got T.I. and his wife. I love all of them for real. We used to have Russell and what was his wife?
Right.
Yeah.
are we talking?
Is it Angie? Angela?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Angela.
No, it's like Kimora or something. Kimora Lee, right?
Oh, you said Ron. I'm thinking about Ron. I'm thinking about Ron.
Oh, we love them. We love both of them.
Justine.
Yeah, Justine.
Yeah, hell yeah. We love
That was
them.
show right there.
Hey, Run. Matter of fact, let me say this while we talking about Run. Now, people are, a lot of times people say, what's your top five?
You know.
And you start naming your favorite rappers. And most of the time they are individuals, Jay, Nas, of some type of sort, right? Eminem. Now, Run DMC is the greatest hip hop group of all time. Point blank.
You had people say the Wu-Tang.
There-
But you got to
It
think about what
is
they
Run
did.
DMC, first of all. They lived up to everything that hip hop should be. And they're not mentioned because they're not in the top five. They are above the top five. They're the standard. Every entertainer wants to have a career like Run DMC. Shouts out to Run, Darryl Mack. God bless the memory of that Master J. J are above, and Chris One, KRS-One is above the top five as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not the old school people before Run, and then people after that. LL could be transcended, maybe not in top five, because even if he's not your top five, he's Uncle L. He's Uncle L. Nobody does it better.
Nobody knew what the GOAT meant until he came the GOAT.
You know,
he
I
should be
honestly
paid for
say
that.
he might not be my top 5 or top 10, but he's definitely in like my top 10.
Ladies love it.
Like he's on the side of the top, you know what I mean? Of your top, whoever your top are.
Yeah.
For that, we were talking about Will and Jada, and Frank Ski went on a rant about how he was disappointed that Jada didn't apologize for her husband or for the incident, I guess, sister. So can explain that a little bit better.
Frank
She
Ski
was
was just-
offended.
I was because why should Jada have to? So Frank Ski, so Jada had a Red Table Talk, and the headlines were saying that she finally was breaking her silence on the whole Brandy slap.
And she ain't say shit about nothing.
And she really didn't address it. It was a very PC statement about her hoping that Will and Chris could, you know, these two grown men can work out their differences because we need them, you know, especially now.
She
and all
clickbait.
that. So
That's what it was.
They
Famous for that.
Fucking Jada.
they clickbaited us because her Red Table Talk.
Literally, fucking Jada.
They clickbaited us because really her Red Table Talk.
It was about Alfie.
It was about alopecia. She never said that it was about the Grand Prix. So media, most media, junk journalism, they ran Jada's numbers up because people decided to go listen and they were going to get a real statement about alopecia. I realized into the alopecia episode, that segment, aside from the introduction, was so heavy. I made it through about a third of it before I tapped out. Like, she's not talking about the Grammys. This is it. You know.
She put that up.
And I also talked about, because Jada's a Virgo. What I also know about most Virgos is they struggle with self-reflection. They can, you know what I mean? Virgos are really great if you want people who have attention to detail. They
Crybaby.
they
Control
they
everything.
can be crybabies and they can shy away from accountability at times, especially the uninvolved. Now I won't say how evolved or uninvolved I think that Jada is. What I will say is, regardless of where I find flaws in her character, I think on this one, she is not responsible for the actions of Will. I do not think
She
that
is
a bizarre
responsible for all of it.
No, I disagree.
I can't wait to talk to Will. I'm gonna
I
call.
disagree. I disagree. You can't control
She
another
is.
person. You cannot control another person. You cannot control.
Natural, because see, he did speak about it, and it's so protected. And I believe. And Will Smith reacted because he was trying to. Man, this shit is so deep that it's hard to even conceptualize if you aren't there, because they the ones that know the ins and outs of their relationship.
And they
And
just put it out there for us to sit up there and try to figure it out.
it is important to us because we're in self-analyzation of our own relationships to see what boundaries and what where we go wrong in our own relationships. And for her to act like she wasn't involved in Will Smith smacking, losing control, being so frustrated about the situation that wasn't that heavy, right? She's directly involved because her appointment broke his heart. And she's done this on numerous times, publicly. And her truth being exposed the way she's weaponizing it to make money is making a fool out of the people she loves. 100%. And if Will Smith wasn't such a great guy, then
But is
his
he really
career
young?
would
Do we
be
know?
dust.
Do we know how great Will is?
Well, let me say this.
I do.
Bill Cosby may have had whatever it is that he's accused of doing. And he's made such a great impact on the lives of Black people and people in general. I would not even know what college was if it wasn't for Bill Cosby.
And all these years, all the time, I'm sorry, but I thought Hillman was a freaking college all these years, man. Made up.
No,
I wanted to go to Hillman since I was a kid.
college atmosphere was created by Dr. Cosby.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving him permission to sexually harass, molest,
Rape,
shoot up the club,
pill,
right?
poison,
With
violate,
right?
right?
I don't give him permission to do that, but I understand that. I don't want to know Dr. King's indiscretions either. So keep your truth yourself. Tell it to your therapist.
That's the problem in our community.
The problem is we go running our mouth about shit that should have been kept in the family.
No, the problem is we're not
I'd be
exposing. We're not exposing
hell.
the abusers in the family, so they continue to do it for generations.
Exposing
problem
them to
is-
who? Exposing them to the public, going to the police so they can be arrested, or exposing them to the family members who can look down on this person and not let them go come to Thanksgiving dinner in Christmas. Yeah, get that shit out in the open. Cause I would fucking tell. Right? Now I would never happen, but I would also tell. So what I'm saying is when you start telling the public to get exposure, where's that coming from? That's your truth as a weapon. And
My
If
truth don't have to be a
somebody-
weapon if people behave with righteousness. people behave better, my people don't have to do that.
Okay, Blau, how you like me now? Will Smith smacked from frustration of his wife's disappointment. She acting like she ain't have shit to do with it. If she would have laughed like everybody else, he would have said, "Oh shit."
Women
Right?
don't need to laugh for shit that's funny. If it's not funny, I'm not laughing.
Right.
If
And
it's
he
hurtful,
knew-
I get
and
to
he
act
knew-
like it hurts.
and he knew.
I don't have to sit around and act like it's not bothering me.
And I'm gonna tell you the
If
truth,
it is,
and I don't mean to cut you off. When you meant to do something, that's when you're on the power. So I feel like they already had a problem with Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he smacked the shit out of him.
you might have smelled because Chris had that shit coming.
I had like a situation with a guy who I felt like, he's disrespected that I couldn't address it. So 10 years where he finally slipped up in a situation that I could overstep my bounds with, right? You see my elbows, then I was just waiting because it would have been too petty to address it. I felt like Will Smith addressed it at the Oscars. And he could have addressed that shit backstage or some shit like that. But nonetheless, he addressed it where he addressed it. Smacked the shit out of this nigga, right? Drug his ass about 10 feet across the fucking porch, right? He was like, "You play too much." You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh shit, my bad, dog." All that dumbass shit. That was Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
I don't know who was that. I just think that this man, everybody got
That nigga know who he is.
Everybody has a breaking point. And I feel like Will might have just had enough of all the vaccine jokes, enough of the entanglement shit, enough of the Jada got this nigga's balls in the vice. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm just saying a lot of the stuff that I've seen is like Will is the perfect victim. And at the 20 years, see if I was here.
We just get hostage. I'm just saying. That was a scream for help. Let me out. You be trying to put like awareness to it so people can say, "Oh, are you okay?" What how the Michael Jackson song go? "Daniel, you okay? Are you okay?" They're probably trying to figure out if he's okay. He's like, "Man, help me." He was screaming. He bust that window, climbed out of the basement.
I used to respect.
Hold on, what's this we drinking on? It's that gentleman's right there.
Yeah, let me get some of that.
Yeah, that's that gentleman's right there. But y'all want to know something right there? Anything else in there?
I think we might be.
Where y'all get the gentleman's from?
The next KT Winery.
Who?
KT Winery.
KT Winery.
I look up online.
This one is called The Gentleman.
And Black Men's Warehouse as well. That's a Black Men's Warehouse.
Just a Black Men's Wear collab. I forgot she did say that. Black Men's Wear collab. I see that right there. KTWinery.com. Black. She was here a few weeks ago with Mom Wine, right?
I love Mom Juice. Mom Juice.
Yeah, Mom Juice.
Right. That's the reason why we got Father's Day coming. That's my bad. I said that's the reason why we got Father's Day coming up now. We got all that Mom Juice.
Word them up.
Hold on, we just got a context with X Movie. So let's see what he's talking about. See if we get him up on here.
Got a lot of stuff going on around Father's Day.
So what you got planned for Father's Day?
I am planning to be a happy father on Father's Day. A lot of practice with no producing. We're not producing anything. We just practicing. It's just So we're gonna do. Try out.
What kind of
So
trials?
why say he getting it on?
What kind of trials?
In a nutshell.
What kind of trials?
Making babies but not really making them.
We're watching. We're babysitting.
And we got Moody Bunny.
We're watching babies.
Watching babies on Father's
We're gonna watch them.
The grandbabies.
And we are gonna let them go. Because we love the kids. Yeah. Right. We're gonna play Twister on Father's Day.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. So Father's Day is also Father's Day is also Juneteenth. So I will be participating in some Juneteenth activities.
But you know what? I got a real question.
Are you going to Philly for
This is
Juneteenth?
not, hold up, time. This is serious. This is real serious. This is a serious thing because Mother's Day was what day?
Mother's Day.
Yeah, when was Mother's Day?
Is it Sunday?
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
Right.
All right, so this is the thing. And I don't want to bring Chris Rock back up, but he got a point though. We don't get the big piece of chicken no more. Come on now, Father's Day. I ain't seen Father's Day commercial on television yet. I ain't seen a piece of lumber they was talking about. Yo, they don't love us no more. We don't get nothing Father's Day. They don't love us. This is serious.
You know, as a father.
The strip clubs don't even give out like 2-for-1 wings anymore. Nothing. All of these women,
Damn it.
these fathers, these sugar daddies that went through college.
2 for 1 wings on Father's Day.
We don't
What
get
other
nothing.
day do we deserve?
They done put more women through college than the national, than
Yeah, that's facts.
what's that? The kid used to come on TV all the time. The Negro College Fund.
Right.
All them dudes on the hat club now Democrat. They put all the women through college. They probably getting them shit. We don't even get no hot dogs.
That would make a difference in
We
the
don't get no
world.
more on Father's Day.
2 for 1 wings on Father's Day.
So I have a question. Whose responsibility is it to do all these things for y'all on Father's Day? Whose responsibility?
It's women because on Mother's Day, we tell every woman, Happy Mother's Day, we give them flowers, random women flowers, hold doors open longer than we used to. We do everything on Mother's Day. And a lot of times a lot of women ain't mothers, but they mothers of the earth. So we still treat them as important. So black women, mothers of the earth. So I'm just trying to say is, when are y'all going to start? I mean, what y'all can do is y'all can get them some wine. Men drink wine and we cry. We said I'm crying right now.
What are we crying about?
I'm crying now. That's what it sounds like. That's what I'm talking about. These guys.
Man, stop crying. You talking about men crying. Stop crying.
That's my new T-shirt. Real men do cry.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We cry when we break our arms.
Check this out though. We got one more. We got more.
We cry when we get.
That's why you think
you see
blood. That's why you think people need to repress their truth. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No, I think that having a deep character means something.
Deep character does not mean that you have to repress your emotions.
You don't have to repress your emotions, but tell the people who make a difference to you, who it makes a difference to you.
Tell me.
After you turn,
Yeah, that's what they are. I mean, but side though, but
you should have been told your mama or the uncle that did it, or somebody in your family that can non-invite that motherfucker to Thanksgiving.
That's not
It really.
I just want to get it off my
starts
chest.
off
That's
that
all.
simple.
It's not.
It starts off that
Have you
simple.
ever been violated in that way?
No,
Then
wait.
you can't.
But hold on.
Then you cannot relate, thankfully, and not get to tell people when they decide to come forward. Just understand that that's not your experience. Okay? Like you can speak on other things, but you can't speak on that. You have to leave that alone.
Silence by Sister Sophie.
This is the first time I ain't never seen Qual quiet. You don't go to the barber shop. He's the remote control guy, and he's the one controlling the conversation. I ain't never seen him be quiet.
It's not a control thing. It's just that Pop is a logical person.
Even the quote come out real easy.
And I know him to be empathetic, and you could probably mistake that if you only listen to his perspective on some of these topics, which is not a full description of But for that right there, yeah, I'm in full support of people telling their truth. And if people don't want to hear it, they can, I have to listen to it. But also being a person, myself, me too, who's experienced that type of trauma, I think it's important for people to talk about it, because that's one of the only ways that you'll be able to, number one, heal from it.
So what kind of trauma? I ain't even
Because
gonna
we're
lie.
only as sick as our secrets, right?
What kind of trauma
And
you
it
talking
needs to
about?
be a regular conversation about, because it continues to happen, and those things don't happen in a vacuum. And the people that usually are the ones who are imposing this type of abuse have experienced that abuse themselves as well. And it doesn't help being quiet about it and not leaving it.
Who are you telling?
Unknown
Who are you
issues.
telling? Why do you
So
seek
here's
the
the
attention?
thing. No, it's not
right?
the attention. It's
Well, I'm giving out real shit.
It's not-
This is dinner that people
It's not
walk
the
away from
attention.
the
I think
table
that
with.
people are thinking, because a lot of times the people who have experienced that type of trauma, they feel the shame when the shame doesn't belong to you, right? But also the people who are doing it, sometimes they don't know that they're basically taking on the same behaviors as them. So it can become a continuous cycle. Also, in our community, especially, we don't need to be quiet about it. We need to get these people out so it can fucking stop. So that the tribe and the community and the village
So
and really be thriving
which part
and
about
really
that?
not have
In the
these
book?
dirty little secrets.
Whatever book they trying to say, and they're telling this dirty little secret, right?
So I'm writing a book, and my dirty little secrets will be in the book. And the dirty little secrets are not mine. I'm just exposing motherfuckers.
Like Superhead, I had a problem with that bullshit too.
Wow.
Can two things be true at the same time?
Yes.
Because
Yeah, your truth and my truth.
the fact that we went down, not necessarily now, why are you telling your truth when it involved me? Tell your truth and leave me out. So now you expose a mutual agreement to make money. And I don't agree with that. If you telling the truth for me, that I ain't agree with, now you're exposed to the public. And not that I did anything wrong, but now I'm not doing that. I would have said I did that from the beginning, if that's what it was. So now we books and expose intimate shit that we remember without even consulting the other person to be like, yo, it wasn't no potato chips at the end of the bed. Like, that's wrong. So what makes what you're saying true or valid?
Well, for Superhead, I didn't get too involved in her storytelling because I felt like she had consensual relationships with somebody who probably trusted her to keep their business private. And the reason that I think that was because before she started saying anything, they had to say, and nobody actually came forward and said, yeah, it was me.
You know,
I just got a problem with people exposing
a lot
like
of
certain
So
stuff.
that,
a lot
that
of
to
people
me
knew
was,
who she was, and therefore she gained
they
a
knew who she
nickname
was, but did they?
with such respect.
So I think that one of the reasons she probably came forward was because not just because she wanted to make money, but I think because they started making fun of her, and that became her name. Like Superhead became her name. She wasn't her name. You know what I mean? And I think she had relationships with these men where they were treating her like her friend, and she was being, who she was to them. But amongst each other, they were calling her Superhead. But why downplay her when y'all had a mutually beneficial relationship? So I I think after a while, that
It
whole
was a great
superhead
nickname.
thing was, it might have been a great nickname, but think about the damage to her reputation from these very powerful men. And then she decided to go ahead and
How
tell
can you
her
damage?
side of the story. She decided to tell her side of the story and make it work for her, because now you calling this woman this, and you damaging possibly her reputation. What type of job she about to get? So how about I don't have to go get a regular job. I can write this
I'm
tell
not
all
answering
book.
that question.
I can write this tell all book.
Her
I can write this
reputation
tell
made
all
her
book, because now since you wanna call me Superhead, my fucking name ain't Superhead. Her name is Corinne Steffens.
And she has
You're
a
not calling
son.
her that.
And she has a son.
Guess what? Her son ain't starving because she wrote her fucking book, and
She
people
wasn't
tuned in and
already
people watched.
starving because she was getting paid from her great head.
Guess what? Her name wasn't Superhead. So
Her name is
if they were
Superhead.
gonna make money, and they were making money off of, like, talking about this woman in a
Superman has a problem with his
derogatory
name is Superman.
manner, I don't feel sorry for them that she decided to capitalize off of her own
Somebody said you're great.
unchosen trademark.
Yeah, they give you a name of being great.
Right.
You have to live up to the expectation. Like they talk about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, they don't know about the pain they had to go through because he had to carry the whole NBA on his back, on his shoulders. Because Michael Jordan made NBA an individual game. It wasn't another individual game. It was all the people that loved it, but he had to carry that weight of his shoulders on him because I got the whole NBA, so now I can't fail now. So you see what happened? He stressed out and left NBA for a whole year. That's a lot. Somebody give your name. If I sit up there and say, Zion, you're the best cook ever, and then every time I bring somebody up, because every time you cook it, I bring somebody around your house, like now you gotta live up to the expectation. Like, man, I want people like this. You don't like the food, you gotta. It's hard. It's kind of hard to. Any name. You say Dr. Barber.
Dr. Barber.
It's kind of hard to live up to that name. You gotta be a professional and a perfectionist every single time you pour the clippers out.
But the reality is, calling her Superhead was not really a compliment. We were calling her that in front of everybody. They were saying that shit in jest amongst each other, and it spread throughout the industry. And she just decided to make it also work for her, because it was.
It's the wrong time. It was the wrong time.
They were bigging her up, but they were also like clowning her.
Look what you think about now. Look where we at now. You got all this other stuff that is out there. Women are taking everything.
She's doing to
Right.
herself.
This is the wrong time.
Then when they call it out, look what you're choosing to do.
So what? But they choose it. So why choose then to belittle her? Listen, prostitution is one of the oldest professions. It is the oldest profession. And the greatest. But here's the deal. I feel like when people talk about prostitutes or sex workers, there has been a stigma. Y'all know it.
God bless all the sex workers out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless y'all.
Absolutely.
And all the strippers, exotic dancers, and what are they now? Just, you gotta show everybody respect.
Yes,
What are they now? No, they're not exotic dancers. If I ever catch a pole dancer, a skinny pole dancer beat a big pole dancer, because they call it polesque, I am going to throw up, right? And I am waiting for it to be in the Olympics. Polesque. Waiting for it. 2020.
No, you know what I'm waiting for?
I say pole dancing used to be.
No, I'm waiting for
the
500 yard.
I don't want to see a
dance.
skinny girl from Australia beat a thick girl from Alabama.
I mean, don't give a
damn that she did all the tricks. No, I don't give a goddamn about the tricks. If she walk around a pole and that white girl from Australia flip upside down, God damn it, that thick girl gets it every time, in my opinion.
Depends on the skills.
Because pole dancing is about skills and temptation.
What I really need to see in the Olympics, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, is the 400-meter dash in high heels. Yo,
Dog.
you never seen a woman run high heels and like, yo,
Hey,
that's a magical shit. I just sit at work and watching them running through that window. You know, they had a bags like this in one hand, key this hand, a fucking car in the back hand, and feed the other child in this hand. They running like it ain't nothing.
I would love to see
amazing.
that shit right
That shit
there.
is fucking amazing. And I can barely walk. And I can't walk and carry shit at the same time. But he had everything in their hands with heels on.
High heels.
And that's just fucking amazing.
Yo, we should.
It's amazing.
We should lobby for that.
I just sit there like, I'm like, somebody will fall, but nobody never fell. I've never seen a woman fall running in heels. No, like, you might go like, hold up, you like, catch myself, and that's it.
Girls in Come that pole. Do your thing.
Pause.
No.
Sorry, you need a minute.
I'm just saying, I don't want
to
you go on YouTube and you see polettes dancing, and you might see white girls from Australia and Europe killing it, right?
So,
dropping to the floor with it, and I don't need a minute with it. I'm just saying, if you're from Georgia, you won. You already won. From it, I don't give a fuck if she's from Australia. If you're from Atlanta and you're polettes in the Olympics, you're in the gold medal round.
So you want to see how my heart got broken? 2019, right before the pandemic. No, it was 2020, right before the pandemic. When did Jamaica? Goes into Jamaica. You know, I got the little on the resort. Everybody goes sit down and had a little dinner and everything. We go have a little dinner and we chilling. I go to Jamaica first time. I see the commercials. Come back to Jamaica, all that shit. See all the dancing. They had a dance contest, a twerk contest. I said, oh, yes, we about to have fun. I go to Jamaica, see a twerk contest. Fucking white woman won. No, nobody was good. Nobody was good. I swear, anybody tell you, I had this conversation with all my, they talk, everybody asked me about Jamaica, we talk about twerking, this conversation come up every time. I was hurt for like 2 days. I seen everything on TV. I was in love with Patrick.
I'd rather see a little booty woman.
But I go to Jamaica and a white woman wins the twerk contest in Jamaica. That's like going to Africa and seeing it was, a light-skinned bush boogie. Right. Sorry, I feel you people take anything all off the day, messing with y'all. You started it last week. Last time with me and Quality had a good conversation about the Jesus and what you say that Jesus was a pimp?
Oh, when I said Jesus had hope.
Yeah,
Jesus had hope.
You started it. You're gonna get all of us blocked with me. It's gonna be the last time I see it. It's gonna be the last time I see it. But if you think about it, the way you broke it down, it was like somebody say, "What? Oh, don't you?" But it was different the way you broke it down.
Listen, there's a whole section of Jesus' life that we missed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, I don't know. I know why I think that, when they stop, unless they legit do some shit.
Exactly, right.
My thing was, I don't know too many men who
I just hit my toe and I didn't cry. That shit hurt.
Cry when a woman talks to them if it's not his woman. I mean, besides like
I know one person, but but he's gonna remain nameless, and he's probably watching. He's gonna remain nameless.
Like good, or maybe a sister, because I know
you made somebody cry.
I mean, several men cry.
By talking to him.
Yeah, by talking to him, I witnessed it with my own eyes.
Listen, so here's the thing, and I don't take it for granted. When men feel safe with you, it's a beautiful thing. I've had men tell me some of their deepest, darkest secrets. And even men that I haven't been romantically involved with. You know what I mean? Once they feel safe, that's it. That's it.
They tell you everything.
If you don't put everything.
Accommodation to the safe.
Listen, some
So
things.
you keep all the bricks in the house.
But what I'm saying is, there are men out here who like, yo, you would be surprised. Like, there have been men that I've run into that I've asked them certain questions about themselves, inquired about their wellness or things that you think that you just be friends with somebody.
Yeah.
When you spend time with people, when you care about it on a basic human level, that a lot of, I'm going to say black men because I only date black men. I only dated one or two, three people that weren't black. But black men especially, and I only exclusively date black men. To have somebody really inquire about their well-being, that's not something that they're widely used to.
You'll never get nobody acting really, and I mean, that's what, like, to be honest, not even your friends, nobody really cares about you. Like, nobody really gives a fuck about you, really, if you think about it.
I saw a thing on social media recently where men were asked the question, who do they go to when they're down or not feeling their best, or when they need somebody
Your
to
vice
lean on?
is, that's it.
And you know what the majority of these men said? Nobody.
We don't. It's nobody
Because
cares about us.
Nobody cares.
It's going back to the big piece of chicken. Nobody cares about us no more. I'm trying to tell you. Nobody. And remember, a couple of weeks ago, about a couple of months ago or whatever, 2 months ago, I came to call and I was talking about it. I said something to you before. I said I want to do an episode about nobody really gives a fuck about you. And you got to think about. It sounds like harsh about it, but your problems. To be like, say you got problems, you stressed out all day long or whatever. Do anybody call you and say, "Hey, how you doing, Z? What's going on?" Or do anybody really, like, you might got one or two friends that might do it, but like this, in all actuality, do anybody really care about you on your real well-being or like how you really feel?
Yes.
And that's like ones in the
Yes.
So what? Do anybody really care about how you really feel day to day? How you going? Somebody might say, "Hey, how you doing?" Besides that,
Nobody give a goddamn.
exactly. You might have a selective few. You might be the 1% or whatever, but nobody really care about. If I call you up and say, "Look here," I mean, you're a different type of person because you're a can kind of person. You got that soul, but if I call you up, not you, but anybody else, I say, "Yo, my car just got impounded. Yo, I done lost my job and shit." You're like, yeah. I'm gonna call you right back. Like, when you, a lot of times people don't really give a fuck about how you really feel, unless they want to tell somebody else about how you about you. Really.
Let me say something.
No, go ahead.
This is the intersection of what I'm talking about. Now,
Shows a
issues
That is not-
you're trying to make money, right? That the bills are due on date. People need certain things by certain dates. Plan for these dates and issues and events, and the fact that a normal black man can just normally express, right, what he's going through and trying to be a producer. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you may find a situation where he is vulnerable and he wants to release his emotions to Sister Dope. And what I'm saying is that it's not that I'm saying a man can't cry. Okay, is what I'm saying is that when you start to think of the solutions of how to get over these hurdles, the human body's ability to cry is muffled on the solution. So once you start having these issues of what am I going to do about X, Y, Z, then you will stop crying. So I'm promoting, boom, what's the solutions to these issues? Because your human body will not cry during that moment when you're saying I'm not a victim.
Crying is emotion.
Then, so right after you start crying about those situations and you think of what's the solution, it cuts off. And if you think of every time you cried, whether it was a death or you broke your arm, once you start thinking about what's next, the body starts to recoup. And I'm saying don't stay in that vulnerable space that has you weeping. Start to think of the solutions and you will naturally stop crying when you start to think, you know what, though? If I get my ass up extra early and go through X to get to Z, Now, boom, around the corner is ABC.
That's not
You're not crying at that fucking moment.
Well,
Wow,
see,
I
you make it
feel
seem,
like
yeah.
you got a problem with emotion, though.
Yeah, he make, but the way you make it seem like it's like,
Got a problem with people coining the term, yo, it's okay to cry.
It is.
well,
It ain't.
Well, really,
It ain't.
really,
Suck it up.
you have to because
Suck
you have
it
to
up.
play your team.
Because ain't nothing more attractive than a crying ass nigga.
Sucking it
So,
up is
suck it
why-
up. Think of the
sucking it up-
solutions
sucking
that's
up-
involved.
Sucking it up
But
is
some
why
dudes I know,
You'll
sucking
find
it up
yourself
is
not
why
crying.
so many of y'all have a heart attack so early. Sucking it up is why some of y'all don't. You have misplaced. Sucking it up is why some of y'all can't express your emotions because you think that it is like a lesser. It makes you a lesser man, but it makes you human.
What
I'm
do I
not
say
saying-
every
I'm not
time?
saying
Who
like-
are you
I'm
crying
not saying
to?
cry. I'm not saying cry and stay there. I'm not saying cry and drag out the pity party because I'm not here for that. I do like solutions, right? But I also understand that sometimes you gotta express yourself. You gotta get that shit
you gotta
off
go
your
through
chest.
all your
I'm not
emotions
gonna
every
stay
day.
with you in a pity
I
party.
cried
I
last
don't
week,
have that
y'all.
kind of thing.
I cried last week.
Did it hurt?
I had a funeral. You heard what I'm
Well,
saying? It was
See,
fucking-
but hold on, he just said about
Why?
crying. That's still
Why?
crying though.
Why?
That's still crying.
Bob, you don't
I
have to
weep.
have an excuse or a place.
If you want to cry right now, yo, hold on, I got some nails. If you want to cry right now, yo, it's okay, yo, hey, yo, it's okay.
Let the shit out, Bob.
What I'm saying is,
Light skinned dudes cry.
you get your shit together.
Wow.
If you think about
You do not get to control when people cry, okay, yo? You do not get to control to tell the truth.
You sound like a Virgo. You sound like a Virgo. You sound like a
shit
Virgo.
together.
You know what I'm saying? If it don't